Agentic AI has changed the risk picture. So if your organization is thinking about AI risk as a chatbot problem, you may already be behind. Once an AI system can take actions, make decisions across steps, call other systems, and operate with limited human involvement, the conversation has just moved from managing output risk to managing behavior. And most organizations haven't fully caught up to this yet. They might have an AI policy, maybe a responsible AI committee, maybe even a model review process. And that's real progress. But agentic AI introduces a different class of risk, one that stretches beyond the assumptions that many AI systems were originally built on. So in this video, I want to walk through 4 things: what agentic AI actually changes about risk, where organizations are most exposed, what I think good governance looks like for agentic AI, at least for right now, and what this means for anyone building a career. Hi, everyone. I am Obi. I help professionals, whether you are a career changer or an executive leading AI strategy. I help individuals transition into AI governance and understand what governance looks like in practice. First, what is agentic AI? Agentic AI refers to AI systems that can autonomously plan, reason, and take actions to achieve a goal, usually across multiple steps. They can go through multiple tools and systems, and they do this with limited human involvement. Now, and I have another video that goes more in depth to describe more of the differences between agentic AI and conversational AI. Please watch that. But the main thing about agentic AI is that it presents a very different challenge and a governance problem than whether the output from an AI chatbot was biased or inaccurate. Many organizations have started implementing agentic AI. Its adoption is happening right now. According to PwC's 2025 AI agent survey of 308 US businesses, 79% of organizations reported agentic AI adoption, and 88% said that they plan to increase AI-related budgets in the next 12 months, specifically because of agentic AI. Gartner projects that by 2028, 33% of enterprise software applications will include agentic AI. They also predict that an average Fortune 500 enterprise will have over 150 agents in use by that year. Now, this is an explosive growth. The part that governance professionals should pay attention to is this. According to the same Gartner, only 13% of organizations believe they currently have the right AI agent governance in place. And the one that really got me was this estimate, where they said that 40% of agentic AI projects will be canceled by the end of 2027. Why? It's because of rising costs, unclear business value, and this is a key one: inadequate risk controls. So what you have is a massive adoption momentum combined with governance infrastructure that hasn't caught up yet. And later in this video, I'm going to walk through what I think good governance looks like for agentic AI right now, including 6 things I would put into place right now. So stay with me. Now, I want to be careful about how I frame this because many organizations have done real meaningful work building AI governance programs. They've done model documentation, fairness reviews, privacy reviews, approval gates, human oversight language. They've built foundations, and that matters. But agentic AI exposes something that goes beyond what many of these programs were originally designed for: the shift from systems that generate content to systems that pursue goals. That distinction is key. Because once AI starts acting across workflows, some of the original assumptions start to stretch. For example, many teams build their controls around the idea that human oversight is sufficient. But what does human oversight actually mean when an agent is completing 10 steps across 3 systems in under 60 seconds? At what point is a human meaningfully in control versus just monitoring after the fact? If an agent has real access to a tool, Does that automatically mean that it has the right judgment to use it safely? Many organizations may still be reviewing AI at the use case level, but not at the orchestration level. They may be asking, is this model appropriate? But they're not yet asking, what happens when this model can call tools and trigger workflows? This is where the real exposure lives. So when I say that governance programs need an update, I'm not saying teams have been careless. What I'm saying is that the landscape underneath those systems have shifted, and the programs need to shift with it. And if you take one thing from this video, I'd say let it be this. Agentic AI moves risks from static output risk to a dynamic action risk. I covered several agentic AI risks in a previous video. I'll link it below. But there are two shifts that I didn't get into that I think are especially important for governance professionals. The first shift is from human in the loop to human on the loop. These are two different oversight models, and the distinction matters. Human in the loop means a person actively reviews and approves each critical step before the system acts. Human on the loop means a person oversees a mostly autonomous process, monitoring outcomes, reviewing exceptions, or reacting after execution. Both of these looping systems have their places, but the control strength is different. The concern is that a lot of teams still describe their oversight as human in the loop, when the reality is closer to human on the loop. And many haven't yet updated their control language to really honestly reflect that difference. If the human is only spot checking the logs and reviewing exceptions after action, that's a different safeguard than true pre-action review. And governance programs should be clear about which model they're actually using. The second shift is from model governance to decision governance. Decision governance means governing the delegated decision behavior of an AI system. This is mostly about the scope and the boundary of the decisions that the AI system is allowed to support, to make, or to trigger. This may be the biggest shift. With agentic AI, you're governing questions like, what decisions can this system support? What decisions must remain human? And what trade-offs is it not allowed to make? These questions broaden the AI governance landscape. And as you can imagine, many organizations may not yet have the operating model for this. To make this more concrete, let's talk about the high-risk pressure points. Pressure point number one is vague task boundaries. If the agent's role is poorly defined, drift becomes more likely. The more vague the instruction, the more room there is for the system to pursue a goal in ways that you didn't anticipate. This is especially risky when organizations optimize for convenience instead of a bounded delegation. Pressure point number two is overpowered permission. This is one of the easiest mistakes to make, where a team wants the agent to be useful, so they give it broad access. But usefulness without a scoped authority becomes a governance problem. An agent should have access because access is justified, bounded, monitored, and reversible, not just because it can technically use the tool. Singapore's IMDA launched the first governance framework that is specific to agentic AI. They did that in January 2026. And one of its core principles is that organizations must implement technical controls throughout the agent's lifecycle, including controlling access to whitelisted services, not openly given access by default. The fourth pressure point is weak escalation logic. A strong agentic system knows when not to act. It knows when uncertainty is too high, when context is missing, or when a human decision is required. If your system doesn't have these clear escalation triggers, you are not governing autonomy. At this point, you're just hoping that your system behaves. Pressure point number four is poor auditability. If an agent takes 5 actions and something goes wrong, can your team reconstruct what happened? Can you trace the goal, the tools that were called, or the data that was used? If not, your incident response and accountability posture may have a gap, and that becomes a governance issue very quickly. Gartner estimates that by 2030, 50% of all AI deployment will fail due to insufficient governance platform enforcement. Half. This is a structural risk. If what I'm describing resonates, whether you're building a governance program or just starting to explore this space, I am currently running a training and coaching program designed to help professionals build these skills that I'm talking about here. It's limited to a small group, so I'll link the details in the description below. I've also put together a free 10-day AI governance challenge. If you want to start with the fundamentals, that's linked in the description below. So, what should your teams actually be doing? If I were helping an organization govern agentic AI right now, I'll focus on 6 things. Number 1 is classify agents by action authority. Don't treat all agents the same. An agent that drafts internal notes is different from the one that can retrieve sensitive data. You need categories based on the action, whether it's action authority, system access, or consequence severity. That classification should drive your review intensity. Number 2 is define hard boundaries. What is the agent allowed to do? What requires human approval? Don't leave these things implicit, write it down. Number 3 is redesign oversight around intervention points. Not every step needs a human, but every high consequence threshold does. That means identify where intervention matters the most before external communication, before financial commitment, before a regulated action, before a change that can be irreversible. Fourth is require traceability. Every meaningful agentic system should have traceability expectations. What did it attempt? What did it access? What did it decide? If you cannot trace these actions, you cannot govern action. Number 5 is test failure chains. Ask questions about what happens when it fails at step 1 or step 2 or step 3. When the data is stale, when a tool call fails, or when it encounters a borderline case. So figure out those failure points and ask questions. What would happen if these things happen? That's how you govern real world risk. Sixth is align governance with decision rights. This is the same kind of approach that's taken in cybersecurity governance. Agentic AI governance shouldn't sit separately from operational authority. The people who understand the business consequences of a decision should help shape what the agent is allowed to do. Agentic AI is a delegated authority issue as much as it is a technology issue. Now, I want to speak to some of you who are building a career in AI governance and also to executives who are hiring for these roles. Agentic AI is creating a demand for a more mature kind of governance thinking. If you're already working in compliance and risk and security and in governance, you have a real foundation to build on here. The principles of control design, escalation logic, auditability, and accountability translate directly. What agentic AI adds is applying those principles to delegated decision making, cross-functional workflows, and real-time autonomous behavior. Gartner projects that spending on AI governance platforms will reach $490 million in 2026 and surpass $1 billion by 2030. Organizations that deploy these platforms are 3.4 times more likely to achieve higher effectiveness in AI governance. Now, this signals 2 things: budget growth, but more importantly, it signals where headcount and hiring are going. The market is moving beyond, can you talk about AI ethics, to can you help us govern AI behavior inside real systems with real consequences across real workflows. So wherever you are in your journey, if you can learn to think in this manner, you're positioning yourself well. If you found this video useful, please subscribe and drop a comment and tell me how you or your team is thinking about agentic AI governance. What's the biggest challenge that you're seeing? If you're interested in the training and coaching program, the details are in the description. And the free 10-day challenge is there too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.